Ladies and gentlemen, today I have the profound privilege of being able to meet with Mr. Morgan of Longwood, Florida. In today's conversation, we are going to dive deep into highlighting the vision for families when it comes to educational innovation and the partnership between businesses and businesses becoming a wonderful opportunity for the education realm and how we together are really transforming our city. Welcome to the ReDream Education podcast. I'm Mackenzie Oliver, microschool founder, educator, coach, and believer in the power of starting small, dreaming boldly, and rebuilding the future of education one courageous step at a time. If you're here, it's because something in your life, your classroom, your family, your child, your community, or your calling is asking for a new dream, a wiser dream, a ReDream. This podcast is where we challenge the old models, rethink what learning can be, and build innovative pathways for children, families, and communities. Each week, you'll gain the systems, strategies, stories, and soul work you need to design personalized learning, understand how education is changing for the better, start or scale a microschool, lead with confidence, make a change for your family, and create an education model that actually works for today's world. Because you aren't just dreaming of something different, you are building it. This is a space where we re-envision what school can be, reimagine how children learn, and rebuild the systems that were never designed to meet the needs of our future and current generation. This is a podcast to ReDream Education as we share insights, strategies, stories, and tools to teach our children better, transform learning at home, support innovative education models, and invest financially or personally in the future of students everywhere. Because you aren't just dreaming about a better education, you're part of the movement to create it. Welcome to the ReDream Education podcast. This is where the future begins. Welcome, Mr. Morgan. We would love for you to introduce yourself and your educational journey up until this time here as a city official.
Sure. Thanks for having me on. It's an honor. My name is Matt Morgan. I'm a former WWE superstar. I don't know why they say superstars should be called wrestler, but they say superstars now. Former American Gladiator, a 3-time mayor in the great city of Longwood. Most recently, I got elected in 2020, and again this past 2024, where now I'm a city commissioner. I don't know why it says mayor on my tag still. I got to update my Zoom account, apparently. We rotate the mayor pretty much in our city is how we do it each year.
Yeah.
But my educational background is I grew up in special education myself back in Fairfield, Connecticut. My mom cannot figure out why I kept getting kicked out of these grammar schools all before first grade. And a lot of people would just write me off, and not even just the principal, superintendent included, that I just had behavioral problems. Mom was reading the Connecticut Post one day where she saw an ad where they were looking to test children for what was going to be something very big called attention deficit disorder, ADD. And Yale University was doing this free study. So my mom signed me up for it, where I spent a few days at Yale hospital and did all these different tests on me, put different gadgets on my head. I remember one summer they gave me this harness that I'd wear on my belt buckle that would kind of show my spikes when I would get excited. And long story short, I would say from first grade, we finally found a special education class that was outside of my school district. So I rode a short bus to school from first grade all the way, I would say, until I want to say 6th or 7th grade. And once I hit middle school, they would group you all together back in the day like that in the early 80s. This is 1983, and they would group us all together, all different shapes, sizes, makes and models, and ages even of us from 1st through 5th graders in one special needs classroom that had cubicles in it. And I got to be honest, it did wonders for me.
Wow, neat.
And I really worked my tail off because as a little kid, I really wanted to be part what back then would be called mainstream classrooms. So I wanted to play with my friends at recess. I didn't want to, play with these kids that were, some were younger than me. Most of them were older than me in my special needs class. So they would do it on a merit-based system where if I paid attention for X amount of time, I'd earn points where they'd let me go and take part in a mainstream class that day for my same grade level with my friends. And so it really taught me a really strong work ethic. If I work my tail off at something, good things are going to come from it. And I ended up learning how to utilize that same work ethic in the world of sports, where eventually I became the first person from my city of Fairfield, Connecticut, to sign a national letter of intent to play Division I college basketball on full scholarship at a university called Monmouth University in New Jersey. I then transferred out halfway through, I'd say after my sophomore season, I transferred out to a school in Hawaii called Chaminade University, where I was on basketball scholarship there as well. But the paving and the basement and the entire structure of my work ethic, I would argue, started in that special education classroom back in first grade.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing your background. I'm sure that there are so many listeners that feel a sense of belonging and feel a sense of being heard when they hear that there are people, successful people, that have found their route in life, being able to find their superpower, and knowing that you had also gone through really the test of time when it came to your education. Thankfully, your mother was very proactive in finding an alternative education source for you, because what we have found is that there are many students without having been identified, not even just with a behavior such as ADHD, maybe it is a learning disability, but also students who are gifted, students who learn differently. We have found that their confidence begins to decline when they feel as if they are not in an environment that truly helps them to thrive.
Yeah.
As a parent, what has been your take on education and raising your son from your own experience? Tell us about becoming a parent and the educational route that you have chosen for your son, and really how that's all been shaped by your own experience.
Wow, that's a tough one. What I've noticed being a dad, and I became a father in 2014, my beautiful boy Jackson Morgan, who's now 11, and changed my galaxy. I retired from pro wrestling in my prime. I was only like 13 or 14 years into my wrestling career, but in the delivery room when he was born, the switch went off my head. I'm done. I'm not going to anymore. 4 to 5 days of every week, of every month, of every year for 13 years I had been touring while being a pro wrestler. It's time to be a dad. And then 2.5 years later, he gets diagnosed as being nonverbal autistic. And then everything started snowballing in my head of what am I going to do? How am I going to help this boy? Really made the right call retiring and being a present dad. But me and my wife, the best tag team, I think, on the planet, put our heads together and figure out what we can do for this boy. What I would start to learn is there is no one size fits all methodology of educating any of our kids, I will argue, not just neurodiverse or neurotypical children, all children for that matter. So I like that last statement you said about including even the gifted children, right? That they learn better in certain environments.
Yeah.
All kids learn better in specific, quote unquote, better for them environments that play to their strengths while also harnessing maybe some of their weaknesses and helping them improve those.
Mm-hmm.
But I've noticed, like, I live in Seminole County. We're A-rated here, right? Our Seminole County public school system, we hear about it all the time. And it's a great bragging point as an elected official to want to have more people move to our community and choose us over other counties because of that A rating. But when it comes to special needs, and I mean this with all respect, that I felt like it's going to sound crazy to a lot of Seminole County residents. For Jackson, my son, I have found better luck at the moment in Orange County, where my son goes to an amazing autistic charter school. And he's been there now for like 5 years. He's in fifth grade, and he's gotten great results going there. So what I always try to tell all parents, especially ones when they have newly diagnosed children, you're always going to get 50-50 on every single school that people give you advice on. You can go on sections, and I go, like my son's school, it's 50-50. I think 50% dumping on it. And then the other 50%, like me and my wife, absolutely love it. Think it's the greatest school ever.
Yeah.
But he's now aging out of his current school where next year he's going to have to go to a middle school. And so we're stuck between which these two schools we're going to pick for him, one in Orange and one being in Seminole, that are also, all autistic school. But that was a really good point about how our kids learn in certain environments. And that's what I've learned.
Yeah.
You got to your kid. You're going to get all this advice from others that are just trying to help, love you, and they want to give you the best advice possible. But one size fits all is not the way this works. It's the farthest from how it works with our kids.
I definitely resonate, and I know that many parents who are listening will say there's so many choices, and it's very liberating to be able as a parent to make a choice that's best for your child, right? If you are a teacher, a homeschooling parent, or a brand new microschool founder who is trying to figure out what comes next, you need to hear this. Microschool Masterminds is the community and coaching program I wish I had when I first stepped out of the classroom and built our microschool. Yes, straight from the living room to now nearly over 100 students thriving in year 6. This is where teachers and founders finally get the roadmap, the support, and the systems to create a thriving microschool without burning out. Inside Microschool Masterminds, you will receive weekly live coaching with me and other powerful professionals who discuss strategy, solutions, and provide personal support. You also receive step-by-step modules to build your school legally, financially, and operationally. Marketing enrollment done for you with training that works even if you've never advertised before, and you can learn this on your own time through our Microschool Masterminds classroom modules. Worried about multi-age classrooms or curriculum? We've got you covered with our curriculum planning resources. You receive templates, checklists, scripts, and systems for marketing, financial systems, operations, community building, and growth. Everything is ready for you to plug in and go. Most importantly, you have access to a powerful community of other founders who understand your dreams and your fears. Whether you're starting really slow, or you're still teaching the classroom and you're dreaming of breaking free, or you're already running your micro school but feeling overwhelmed, trying to figure out also how to build a hybrid program. This is a place where you gain clarity, confidence, and of course, a plan. Because you don't have to do this alone. You deserve guidance, you deserve support, and your micro school deserves to grow with ease, not chaos. If you're ready to ReDream Education and take the next step, join us inside Microschool Masterminds, where together we are building this education system better. Head over to redreameducation.com/masterminds to learn more. Again, that's redreameducation.com/masterminds.
And nerve-wracking at the same time.
Yes, I know. And I'm sure that I was a Seminole County teacher and am so grateful for my experience in public schools, and having been named Teacher of the Year, I felt a bit of guilt leaving the public school system because I had wrapped my identity in that sector of schooling. And again, I'm super grateful for my time, but I also felt very liberated to be able to find an alternative method for teaching my own children. And really being in the public school system and working with teachers, especially through something that we call response to intervention, I would sit across the table with so many teachers who would say, I don't want to wait for this child to fail before I can start responding with intervention, before we start moving forward with an IEP or a 504 plan. And that experience I'm so grateful for, because it really led me to where we are today, and being able to have open, honest, candid conversations with families on what they see in their child and what they really want for their child, that we can always, as not only just an educational environment, but also as a business, that we can always continue to adapt to what the market is sharing with us on what they want for their children. You are a very strong supporter for businesses along all of Central Florida. I'm sure that it's been very interesting to see a business now working together as an educational facility, because over the past decade, this is really something that's new that's been brought up. What have you seen has really changed within Central Florida when it comes to parents being able to choose alternative education options for their children?
that there's more and more blossoming. There's more every single year. It sounds like I'm plugging myself, and I promise I'm not. But every year, my wife and I work our tails off to create our Walk for Autism Awareness and Inclusion event. And the purpose of that event is not just for the big walk of solidarity around Ryder Park in Longwood. That's great. And it's good for our kids to see neurotypical people celebrating, right? And so we're all one together.
Yeah.
It's that hook, though. The hook of it is because of what you just said. We have a plethora of various services out there that I know a lot of autistic families are not aware of yet. I, 11-year-old, who was diagnosed right before he turned 3, I still am learning about new services that are out there in our tight knit Central Florida community. And so, because of that, we created the walk where once you finish the walk, to get to the finish line, you have to walk through all of these vendor booths that we let them all come for free. If you provide a service in the space of autism, okay, at all, whatever that is, speech therapy, occupational therapy, equine therapy, sensory integration therapy, whatever have you, swimming therapy for autistic kids, you name it, free of charge. We want you to have your booth there and giving information out to these families so now they know about these services. And long story short, that's what I was saying. That's what I continue to learn every year. We have way more services that are being introduced to this community that a lot of families still don't know. So one of my reasons to do this with you was, one, to thank you. You took a humongous chance, humongous risk uh, with what you're doing in this new, in my opinion, maybe I'm sounding like a boomer here, but new style and this new opportunity that's only going to help these kids be their best versions of themselves, thanks to your school, but also for thinking outside the box and creating something that is necessary. And we need more, quite frankly. We need more choices for these parents to choose from for the best development of their kids.
Yes. I wanted to say that first and foremost, thank you for the work that you have done, and with the walk that you do and really educating families, it has been such a blessing for the community. I'm definitely going to make sure that I get my chance to walk as well. And I love the fact that after the walk, families get to see different vendors. Something that I have noticed with creating this alternative form of education, many families still have had to go outside of Lighthouse Learning to continue to learn and to research if their child does need speech and language services, occupational therapy, tutoring, reading intervention, math intervention. And really right now, the biggest heartbeat of our school is that we can bring more services into Lighthouse Learning, more local businesses, more people who can continue to feed into the community that we've already built. And I'm so grateful for the people that have embraced alternative education, because Mr. Morgan, I'm sure that you thought when you became a parent, you probably thought of the traditional track for Jackson to go. And so then when you heard the news that you were going to have to do something different, I'm sure that probably rocked your boat.
Definitely.
And you had to go through a series of researching, connecting with people, networking, learning. And thank you for doing your part as well. And with your own son's needs, you've been able to create an incredible opportunity for so many families. Thank you for the work that you've done as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me ask you a question. Let me reverse the tables on you. So pretend you're talking to somebody who knows nothing about your awesome program and your awesome school, and the very intelligent move of being able to tag team together. I use that wrestling phrase again here, of business and education. How would you describe your school to parents watching right now? Because I'm going to share this later.
Yes, we serve families who have opted into homeschooling, but they feel as if they don't have the tools, the resources, or the community, but they wanted an educational choice for their child because of their unique family needs. Maybe they traveled more. Maybe they wanted to do more faith-based instruction in their home. Maybe they see that their child learns differently. Maybe they like to have a flexible work schedule and they want to do something that is different for their family throughout the week. Instead of going 8 hours a day to school 5 days a week, they wanted a different option. We also serve families coming straight from public school and traditional school. This was actually the number one type of family that we served from the very beginning. families who were saying, I'm really looking for a different option, a safer option. I want, during the pandemic, my child to continue with their education without having the distractions of the pandemic. And we see a massive influx of families coming out of the public school system and through private schools because they are looking for a hybrid approach. Majority of our families do come 5 days a week. And we have families that come 4 days, 3 days, 2 days, 1 day, depending on what is really best for their family. And we give children all of their academic instruction, as well as being able to be exposed to different career pathways, trades programs. We do enrichment opportunities for families, PE, music, art, entrepreneurship. And that really does serve a ton of families that are looking for something that is less traditional because they know that our society is less traditional than ever before. And then,
Mm.
of course, we are seeing definitely a rise in families whose children have either been diagnosed with ADHD or needing attention to reading intervention or math intervention because the school systems are struggling. There is a tiered method for children having to go through a response to intervention. The great thing about having a micro school or a program like this, and there's others out there, is that we can respond with intervention immediately. And when you have smaller class sizes, when you have different types and styles of teaching, philosophy, methodologies, you're able to respond a lot faster. And you don't have to go within the grade level confinement. So if a child is in 3rd grade but working at a 6th grade level, we can give curriculum adapted to that child. And the same is for if a child is in 3rd grade and is reading on a 1st grade level, that we are able to respond to with intervention on a more personalized pathway.
What are the age or grade levels?
Right now, we serve kindergarten through 8th grade. We are in Longwood, Florida. We've always been in Longwood, Florida. Fun fact is we actually started in our living room with 5 children and my 2 daughters as well. And then just through word of mouth, by year 3, we were still in our house, located in the heart of Longwood, in a neighborhood. And we had families coming from our next door neighbors sent their children to us. They opted out of private school. We had other families who were homeschooling in our neighborhood. And then there were families who drove 45 minutes to come to our house. And finally, at year 3, we had 18 kids, a couple of teacher assistants. And then we realized this is actually a thing. Parents do want this. And I'm sure that you know and you've seen the fruit of the Step Up for Students scholarship,
Yeah.
which really gave so much awareness to families about possibilities, and it lightened the barrier to the financial strain that families were having if they wanted to choose an alternative to public school education. That, as well as what you were saying, this is not a competition of who is best and private schools versus public schools versus micro schools versus homeschooling. There's not a debate because when we really get to the heart of being able to identify the gifts, the talents, the perkiness, the curiosity in every child, we are free to be able to choose an environment that is better for them. And it could be for a season. It could be for elementary years only. It could be for middle school years only. We are planning to go up into the high school years, but we want to definitely do it with quality. And so I'm sure, as well as you, we're so grateful for all of the different methodologies and the people that pour into education. And it's just so important for families to do their research and to know their child and to know them well and to have the conversations and to have the courage to choose better and more wisely for their children, no matter what the option may be.
Yeah, thank you for doing this. And yeah, that's a major chance you took. Teacher of the year, going down this path of doing very well, being very successful, being very talented at it,
Yes.
want to do something even bigger, and you're serving more people because of it. So thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. I definitely say that it is a calling. It's definitely a calling, and very, very grateful that I was gifted with the calling to be able to do this. I want to end this wonderful moment with you, Mr. Morgan, by asking you one very important question. What gives you hope for the future of education and the students that get to be a part of choosing differently?
Conversations like we just had, the fact that we're now at a different place right now in society where we're not being shunned or looked down upon because we want to expand
Mm,
the horizons, if you will, and opportunities for kids to learn in their best suited way as possible. And your school and you are a testament to that future, in my opinion. It's not about making less, it's about making more,
yeah.
creating more. And you're right at the tip of the spear, in my opinion. So, again, thank you. You give me hope.
Thank you so much, Mr. Morgan. How can we learn more from you about the initiatives that you're putting in place to help families in education as well?
So, one other thing I forgot, I should have mentioned this earlier, is my wife and I, Larissa, we are on the chair. She's the vice chair of a group called Mafibo's House over at the church. It's under the Mercy Road umbrella, which is a nonprofit. And Mafibo's House is an amazing program where if you go to work and you have a kid that's 18 years up and over, they have this amazing program where they still work with your children, your now young adult children that special needs or neurodiverse, right? And we also are the chair of being able to help out with their high school initiative. They're called Mercy Highway. And it's high school ages up, it's ninth through 12th. And it's working with neurodiverse kids specifically. It's a great program. It's new, but it's a great program over there at Northland Church as well, is where it's located.
Okay, thank you for sharing. And the initiative that you've taken on yourself, repeat what that is again, where you are going on the walk and where you are really, I've even seen before where you were looking for the community involvement to help supply playground equipment for neurodiverse students. Is this with the initiative of your own?
Great question. My wife is part of this board called PARCS, PARCS, and basically it is the Seminole County Commission. They've created this group of volunteers, and one of the big things that they're wanting to get done, and we're going to get it done, I'm helping them as well, is create play at our different Seminole County playgrounds, them having more playground equipment that not just neurodiverse children would find appealing and want to use and play with, but kids, let's say kids that are in wheelchairs, right? There's playground equipment out. It's called adaptive playground equipment, and we're going to be getting that, and I'm very excited about that.
Yes, that is beautiful. Thank you so much. Because as a parent, one of the greatest moments after school is to take your kids to the park. And yes, and we have beautiful parks where we are. And I want to definitely end by saying I'm so grateful that you were given the path that best suited you. And I'm so grateful that you were able to overcome anything that had been maybe an hindrance to your education. You learned work ethic and you really stood the test of time through the situations that you had. You showed yourself successful in many areas. And I'm so grateful that you shared that story because that really is such great hope for so many families.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Mr. Morgan. And we hope to see you at our ribbon cutting ceremony in Longwood off of Wekiva Springs Road for Lighthouse Learning in December, on December 10th. And we're going to have a chili cook-off. So do you like chili, Mr. Morgan?
Who doesn't like chili? Yes.
No, right. Well, get
What
your taste buds ready.
what time?
The ribbon cutting ceremony will be with the Chamber of Commerce from 4 to 5, and then the chili kickoff is from 5 to 7, and it is a fundraiser for our initiative for Bright Pathways so that we can get, as we said, all the special services for our students in-house at Lighthouse Learning.
I will be there, my friend.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Morgan. It is time to ReDream Education and to actually take that next step. Join us in Microschool Masterminds every single week for live group coaching, self-paced modules, and of course, a powerful community. Head on over to redreameducation.com/masterminds and join us in our free Facebook group at ReDream Education Microschool Community. To learn more, that's redreameducation.com/masterminds.